Here we go, guys. Oh, they actually released more data. They edited it. They added more data. They didn't have this. We'll take a look at this. We'll take a look at this, guys, real quick here. Get Charles in here.
Google. In June, we brought major changes to the game.
The BBC.
At the time, we stated that one of the main objectives behind the meta-shifting perk overhaul and base gameplay changes was to improve the overall kill rate, how many survivors are killed each trial, on average. As stated in our most recent stats post, we did achieve that goal, and as you'll see in the below graphs, the kill rate continues to hover around the 59% to 61% range, up from a 51% to 53% range.
Across all MMR.
In the context of this new meta, many of you have been expressing that you'd like to see where each killer's kill rate now stands. So, we've compiled the most recent data to share with you. We've created two charts to help you visualize and analyze these stats. The first chart represents the kill rate broken down by killer, for all players, all matchmaking ratings, for the period of September 2022. The second chart also represents the kill rate broken down by killer for the same period, but only for players in the top 5% MMR.
I didn't see this. This was on Twitter, though.
Some things to keep in mind as you consult these charts. We rounded up some of the kill rates to make the charts below easier to read. Only values is greater than or equal to 0.95 were rounded up. Scroll past the charts for exact kill rate values for each data set. It's worth noting that many factors are taken into account when it comes to balancing killer powers and character perks, not only data. As always, we are monitoring our overall game balance on an ongoing basis and taking your feedback into account when evaluating whether or not design changes should be made. So please keep sharing your thoughts and experiences with us. We read you daily and relay your feedback to the appropriate people on a regular basis.
Yeah. So something of interest here, guys. Something of interest. These I didn't see. This I saw. Kill rate for every killer at all MMR. Top at 63% kill rate is Pinhead, Sadako, and Wesker. Followed by Freddy, followed by Pig, Plague, and Penis Face. Yeah. So the takeaway here, guys, is literally that if you have a passive power which survivors are too stupid to figure out how to deal with, it will get them killed. You guys remember when they're doing MMR tests? I have a highlight of it, by the way. When they were doing MMR tests earlier this year, and for 6 hours they had MMR completely off. It was off from like 6 p.m. to like 2 in the morning or midnight. Yeah, where there's no MMR at all. And I got a 3-kill Sadako game, a 3-condemned Sadako game, and then the last guy refused to get condemned, and eventually I just had to hook him and kill him when he's the last survivor, and he couldn't find Hatch, by the way. Yeah, he was just like, I got him stuck in a corner and shit, and I couldn't condemn him. I kept trying to condemn him, and he, like, I wasn't able to do it. He just kept squirreling around. Yeah, I got a 3-condemn game when MMR was off. Yeah, because I started them with the tape that makes it so they have to go and use the tape. Yeah. Yeah, that's the only time that has ever worked. In, like, Sadako, back when I played her, it was like maybe I'd get like 1 condemn per night playing at highMMR with Sadako, yeah. And basically all it amounts her to being is literally a mouse 1 killer, and that's it. She doesn't even have powers. They just take it away because good survivors will run around and turn off your TVs. Yeah. Yeah, so Sadako is a top-tier MMR killer, by the way. And Cenobite, once again, they nerfed Cenobite. Not that he works at top MMR. They nerfed Cenobite because he was having too many chain hunts, and that was getting survivors killed because they didn't know how to go find the box and turn it off. Yeah. Like basic shit. Like they could put tooltips on the screen. They're like, hey, you're constantly getting hit. You know, like the, what's her name? Navi from Zelda? Hey, you're constantly getting hit by chain hunts. Maybe you should go pick up the box. Like they could do all sorts of things to help survivors out, guys. And they don't. They don't. Instead, they make charts like this and they try to ham-fistedly try to apply balancing changes across this entire spectrum in order to tamp it down these high MMR killers here. These aren't, by the way. These are pretty. Wesker might be all right, but other than this, but these guys up here are shit. Plague also isn't very good, and the reason for that is because when you play against good teams, they know how to manipulate their power, and you'll get shit on. Yeah, because just because you can one-hit someone does not mean you can catch them, as it turns out. Yeah. Unfortunately, we had that experience where I was going to play Plague, and I thought she'd be another one of my main killers, and that did not work out. Yeah, Penis Face just has a passive where he puts you in darkness, and you can't see what's going on. You just run into killers because low MMR players are dumb. Pig has helmets on, and people don't know how the helmets work, and once again, they just die. Hey, you know, would it be great with a little Navi popping up in the corner like a gruesome-looking Navi? Hey, guys, maybe you should go take your mask off. Like, they literally could add stuff to low MMR to help people figure out what to do in the game so they learn and get better. And this, without changing gameplay mechanics, these will come down. Surprise, BHVR, if you give people the tools and information to figure out how to play your game, they will. And you can say, oh, just go to the wiki. Yeah, most people either can't be fucking bothered because apparently they just enjoy being bad. They can't be fucking bothered and they don't think it's worth going to a wiki, or they don't even know it exists, by the way, because once again, wikis that are in a game is very difficult for people to find. You could go to the information on the killer, but once again, people can't be bothered to do that, right? So I think, like in like the lower 50% MMR, if you had a Navi that had popped up on the screen, it's like, hey, buddy, maybe you should go over and take off your trap before your head explodes. You know, like one of those things. You know, you don't need to give them base kit stuff. You just need to tell them how to play the game. It's not that hard either. Like literally going and checking a box is not that difficult, where you could literally tell them, hey buddy, your head's about to explode. Maybe you should go take off your helmet. Or, hey buddy, you're getting chain hunted. You should go pick up the cube. You know, one of those things. Look around for the cube on the map. Like literally a tutorial would change this whole game, but instead of a tutorial, they are hell-bent on going up to the top MMR and dragging every fucking thing down at the same time. Ruining characters because of Base Kit Unbreakable. There's characters that have to slug. Such as Twins is the most obvious example of a character that needs to slug. Have to slug. Ani, any killer that has a one-shot power where they have to use it and then it's one and done. Ani, Myers are all going to get hit hard by the Base Kit Unbreakable because they have to claw down these numbers again. And they're just going across the board and just wrecking characters. They're wrecking their own IP in order to draw down these numbers. Instead, you could literally look at these numbers and literally figure out that these guys right here, the reason people have problems with them is because of their built-in innate qualities. And Pinhead people do not have any problems with it, high MMR. It is all his chain hunt. And instead of nerfing the chain hunt, just put a fucking dialogue on the screen that says, hey, you're getting hit by a chain hunt. Hey, buddy, you're getting hit by a chain hunt. Tee-hee-hee. Maybe you should go find the box that's causing it. You know, like, that's not that hard, is it, guys? It's not that difficult. And instead of empowering survivors, instead of helping bring up the shitters from the bottom to draw these numbers down because their kill rates are going to go down when people know how to play against them, BHVR is just like, yeah, man, no, let's just give everyone Unbreakable. Base Kit Unbreakable. Across the board. Just Base Kit Unbreakable. Yeah. Yeah, this is absurd. These numbers are absurd. I didn't know these other numbers existed. I'm curious to go through these, but I'm just initial reaction to this chart because I never really covered it. Yeah. And some of these, once again, where people don't know how to deal with them, just some of these killers obviously are a little bit different, like Spirit, I would actually say works at high MMR. And even then, I'm kind of curious because she's been nerfed pretty heavily at high MMR. You don't see really a lot of people playing her because I think you can get fucked with pretty heavily if people are cheating or just know how to manipulate your character. And there's Nurse down here at 52%, by the way. Worst killer in the game. Trickster's also down here. I think Trickster's just bad in general, though. I've mentioned this before. He needs to be at 115, and he's not. I think this is pretty de facto across the board. Yeah, he's still down here at high MMR. Where's Nemesis, too? Nemesis is 59%. So he's below the threshold. And I played, like I said, Nemesis I thought was like the top. He's probably one of the best B tier killers in the game. S tier, obviously, Nurse and Blight. And Blight only gets up to S tier after you learn his techs. A tier being a Blight and non-tech Blight and Spirit. And then below that you have Nemesis. And I think Wesker might have been there too, but we never got around to playing him. Yeah. And there's some killers here that literally, like even Bubba's around Nemesis. Yeah. And Bubba does not have the same kind of anti-loop. Hague is at Nemesis. Hague gets bullied. If you play Hague at highMMR, you get fucking bullied by flashlight squads that know where you'll have two people that simultaneously converge while you're going for hook rescue, simultaneously converge on your ruins to pop them at exactly the same moment, so you teleport all over the fucking place, and you can't teleport where you need to go. Yeah, or you have someone that just runs around and flashlight burns your runes off, just like Trapper having someone go and reset your shit. Yeah, because once again, not very good. Where's Trapper here anyways? There's Trapper 56% overall. Doctor's down here as Demogorgon. It's kind of weird. Demo takes a little bit more skill to use, and Doctor takes a little bit more skill to use their abilities, though, so it kind of makes sense. Alright, kill rate for every killer, top 5% MMR. This is interesting. Wesker's on top. Plague is definitely not what I consider. Once again, I've played Plague against high MMR squads, so I'd be kind of curious what like top 1% is, because some of these killers definitely do not seem viable. And by the way, top 5% isn't even top 5% in this game, I would say. Mainly because there's a lot of there's a lot of people that play this game, guys, and a lot of them are not very good. It's not casual, but it is very competitively, it's like Mario Party. It's casually competitive, and it very much shows. But anyways, here's the top 5%. Yeah, Wesker, Plague, I don't believe in. Dredge, once again, we've played plenty of Dredge, and he definitely did not seem like he's up there. Then, once again, Nurse isn't at top, by the way. So this is definitely top 2% or 1% would have been very interesting to see. 1%, I'd say. Maybe even less than 1%. 1% or 0.5% MMR would have been very curious to see. Because this doesn't even align with my expectations. Wesker, maybe. Penis Face, no. You people counter Penis Face the same way they counter Nurse, which is they'll bait you with lockers, and then they'll just lock everything. Penis Face does not work. Plague does not work either. Ani's up here. We never really played Ani, but Ani's like a shit Blight. And Blight's at the same kill rate as Ani, so this once again is not correct. Cenobite is still up here. Sadako is still up here. Yeah, so they have weight. This is the scale up to high MMR players is too flat. It's like this. It's like one of these things. It's not like a linear scale. It's more like you go up to like 5% and maybe even like 3% before it goes straight up in terms of kind of players you're playing against. Because I would not consider these top tier killers. Sadako's still in here. Spirit's up here. Nurse is up here again. Yeah, Pig is at 60%. Where's Nemesis? Nemesis, he goes down. He goes down with higher win rate. Holy shit, guys. We're playing a shitter. I'm playing a D tier killer, guys. Holy fuck. Did you know that? Nemesis is a D tier killer. Look at that shit. He's and Trapper's still at 56%. Look at our D tier killer here, guys. Where's Clown? He's 58. Yeah. Yeah, so this data, I would be very curious about top 1 or 0.5% in this game. Now, I think that's the breakdown we're looking for is 1% or 0.5%. I thought it was 5%, it's not. 5% would be normal for like 5% in like Overwatch is like Masters. Yeah, the skill distribution in Dead by Daylight is not like Overwatch. Top 5% is like Masters. I think GM is like 2 or 3%. 2%. And 500 is like 0.1. Depends on how many people are playing, though. Wraith is up here. Wraith barely moved. Yeah, so maybe that's not even... Yeah. So top 1% or 0.5% would have been very interesting to see. That kill rate, pick rate values. Excel. I like Excel. Kind of curious. Those don't really help. This is basically just pick rates in here, though. With pick rates here, too. Actually, no, this doesn't include pick rate. Their old chart did. There you go. Pick rates and a red rank. So this was top 5%. So Freddy's up here. This is 2019, I think. 2020. Doctor's up here. Doctor hasn't really changed. Freddy got nerfed. He didn't need to be. Bubba hasn't changed. Pig hasn't changed. Oh, Pig has changed. She area their box is nerfed. It's supposed to be a buff, but it wasn't because you have less RNG head pops now. Spirit. Myers. Hillbilly. This isn't correct either. Yeah, so it doesn't break it down enough. That's kind of sad. Goes in. Three days ago. No, this was almost a week ago. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, well, yeah, once again, it would be very interesting to see what 1% or 0.5% is. 5% is not low enough, as you can see based on the kill. Sadako is still up here, and everyone knows that she doesn't work at highMMR, so she'd probably be way down here. I'd say like maybe 40% kill rate. Yeah, I'd be very curious about like 0.5 or 1%. I don't know what the breakdown would be until it's more in line with what you would think. Pretty much everyone universally thinks that top tier killers is Nurse and Blight. Very curious. Oh, anyways, let's make a highlight of that real quick here, and I'll upload that to the tube.